Welcome to The Approach Shot, the golf show that's more laughs than links, more stories than strokes, more guffaws than golfers. Here are the hosts of The Approach Shot, John Ashton and Neil Michaels.
Thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it. I am John Ashton. He is Neil Michaels.
That's what it says on the driver's license.
Together, we would be The Approach Shot.
We would be?
We are.
Okay, good. I was waiting to find out if I needed to pass a test or something.
We shall be. Listen, man, I know out in San Diego where you are, it's like, you're headed to the golf course every day with the top down, the windows open, however you want to do it. And I'm only a little bit jealous because it's unseasonably cool here in Louisville, Kentucky.
Burr.
It's below freezing. It snowed twice in a week. Usually it doesn't snow twice in a winter. Okay? So I am not being able to play golf. And my favorite things. One is playing golf. The second favorite thing is talking about playing golf.
Indeed.
So I have to go back down to my number 3, policing other people's grammar.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm that guy. You use the word less when you're supposed to use fewer.
Yes.
Like you say, I have less dollars than you. No. The word is fewer. I get infuriated. When you end the sentence with a preposition. I mean, those are things up with which I will not put. Okay? But the worst thing I did is I sent a note to the musician, Bill Withers. And I said, Bill, ain't no sunshine when she's gone is terrible grammar. And he sent me back a note. It said, I know. Hey, little piece of trivia associated. Do you know how many times he sings I know in that song?
23.
26.
I knew I was close.
You were close. But I got so bored one day, I just counted them. That's how it goes. You are not going to be bored for the next 45, 50 minutes or so.
Not even close.
We have got one hell of a show coming up with you.
Hell yeah. I'm going to quote one of the great wrestlers of all time, Ric Flair, and say, woo! We have a show for you. Gus Frerotte, the NFL Pro Bowl quarterback who spent a bunch of years in the NFL and took 3 different teams to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. He is with us, and he's going to talk football and golf. And
we have a comedian from Cleveland, the hotbed of comedy. It really is. But Jeff Blanchard is one funny dude. He's going to talk about a little bit of golf. He's also going to talk a little bit of football because the man has had the misfortune of being a Browns fan for these many years. So
he finally lifted his head above water and was like, there are others of us.
So Gus Frerotte, Jeff Blanchard, the quarterback and the comedian, and you are going to make for very enjoyable 45, 50 minutes. We call it The Approach Shot. Why don't you go and subscribe to it right now while you're thinking about it, and then listen. We would appreciate it. We'll be right back.
This episode of The Approach Shot is sponsored by Blue Chew. Hey guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go? Well, now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed with BlueChew.com. That's blue like the color blue. Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. You can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach, so you can be ready whenever an opportunity arises. Hey, this is Neil Michaels, and for a limited time, listeners of The Approach Shot visit BlueChew.com, and you'll get your first order for free when you use our special promo code APPROACH. Just pay the $5 shipping. You heard right, your first order of Blue Chew chewables is free. Blue Chew is the fast and easy way to enhance your performance, and honestly, which of us couldn't use a little boost sometime? Blue Chew is prescribed online by licensed physicians, so you don't have to go to the doctor's office or wait in line at the pharmacy, and it ships right to your door in a discreet package. They're made in the USA, and Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, so they're cheaper than a pharmacy. Hey, remember, for listeners of The Approach Shot, visit BlueChew.com and get your first order for free when you use our special promo code APPROACH. Again, that's BLUEChew.com. Promo code APPROACH to try it for free.
I can't get my computer to work.
Let me help you with that.
how'd you do that? I just got techie with Geeks on Site.
Our geeks literally come on site. No need to stop what you're doing or block off time. We come to your home, office, or wherever you are. And we don't just fix whatever computer issues you might be having. We explain and teach you along the way.
We'll help you instantly. Call 877-518-3283. That's 877-518-3283.
Thanks for hanging. Coming back, this is The Approach Shot. I am John Ashton. He is Neil Michaels. And Neil, you are going to introduce our first guest of the day.
It's true, and we spent a lot of this weekend watching football, and it is officially Super Sunday today. So with the battle of the ages, with Tom Brady and Pat Mahomes being the guys who are kind of in the spotlight, we thought, what better way to get ourselves really psyched up about the battle of the quarterbacks than to have an NFL quarterback who himself played in the playoffs and was a Pro Bowler. Today we have with us Mr. Gus Frerotte. Welcome to the show, Gus.
Hey, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
He assumes we're gentlemen.
Well, I assumed also that we will be talking a lot of golf, but I guess I was wrong on that as well.
No, we'll be doing both for sure. We do want to kick off a little bit of football, and then we absolutely will swing it to golf. Apparently today is also pun day, so
Just keep them going.
Yeah, please don't.
So sorry.
It's just 2/3 of a pun. P.U. It's terrible.
Wow, you had that one all teed up, didn't you?
Oh, make it stop.
All right, I promise that.
Make it stop.
That's it for the day.
Driving it home. Oh!
I mean, it's going to be an epic battle. Now Neil and I had a little disagreement. He was surprised that Tom Brady made it into the Super Bowl.
Not surprised.
Disappointed?
But there you go.
I was surprised as well, but not because of Tom Brady, but because of how poorly the Green Bay Packers were coached and played. I've been doing this a while, and my sons and I have done fantasy now with Sportsbook. They love to do that, and so you just kind of get into the games a little differently. And that's what really surprised me is how poor, how they play, like a veteran team like that plays so well all year, even in the playoffs. And then that game, it's like they were the Bengals for, pardon the expression. I played for them, so I can say that.
Yeah.
It really did feel for a while as though they just weren't ready. They just felt out of sync.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You just didn't expect that from them. Where Aaron Rodgers got sacked multiple times, where you're used to seeing Devontae Adams get open. He's hitting them on a couple throws. You didn't see that. It just seemed like they were just a bit off.
And there are a couple of people who, I guess, a little more suspicious than others were kind of mentioning the fact that nobody was calling the game very tightly on the referee crew until the very end.
Yeah, I agree with that. You can't like not make the call all day when you know it's there and it's been tight, and then all of a sudden you make one at the end of the game in the most important time of the game. Now, I always said that you don't win and lose games at the end, right? They're done throughout the game. But in that situation, and who else should it be against than King? I mean, he had a terrible game.
Mm-hmm.
To give up a touchdown right before half, for me, that's the whole reason they lost the game.
Yeah.
You can't do that with 6 seconds or whatever seconds they had left on the clock and give up a 39-yard touchdown.
Well, isn't that Tom Brady at Tom Brady's finest? I remember I was saying to my wife, don't get Brady the ball back with less than 2 minutes and a half, because this is where he goes to town. And sure enough, he has the ball, and there's 6 seconds left, and I thought, well, maybe we're safe if we're rooting for the Packers. And sure enough, the touchdown comes, and it's the difference between going in on a tight game and going in and, taking the wind out of your sails.
Well, being in Pittsburgh, these Steelers fans are still upset that they don't go for it on 4th and 1. That's a big thing. And, they want to fire Tomlin and all these things, and it's crazy. But you see a good team, a guy like Brady says, no, we're going for it on 4th and 1. But obviously he's the GOAT, and he can kind of say and do what he wants out there. But They go for it on 4th and 1 and get it, and then they end up scoring a touchdown.
Yeah.
That the more times your offense can have the ball in their hands, you've seen the Packers, they don't go for it on 4th down when they're close down the end zone. They're not having a great day. You don't get many opportunities. And when you're down there, you just got to take advantage of them. That's just like the Bills aren't going to beat the Chiefs by kicking field goals.
Right.
And as a quarterback, I know at the end of the game, Coach decided they were going to go for the field goal rather than try to score the touchdown on 4th down. As a quarterback, do you ever look at the coach and say, well, what the hell are you thinking? We can do this. Come on. Or do you just sit back and say, okay, coach, whatever?
I think at that point, they had that whole melee happen in that game. It was like 4th and 40 or whatever it was. It was terrible, right? And the coach is like, okay, what are we really going to get out of this, right? So I see kicking the field goal, and then they actually, I don't know if it was before that or after that, they got the onside kick. But even the onside kicks, your opportunities to recover the ball when you're kicking it are, I forget what the numbers they had up. They're so low compared to what it used to be because just the rules have changed so much. They give you no chance to, for those incredible comebacks anymore that we used to see all the time. So I think you just got to, when you can have an opportunity to put points on the board, big points, touchdowns, you got to try it, right? And if worse comes to worse, the other team is starting from the 10-yard line.
I hear you.
Interestingly enough, if you look at the statistics today, you see that Brady had the 3 interceptions, which actually brought the Packers back in the game. You had a game in 2000 where you threw 5 touchdowns and had 462 yards, but you also threw 4 INTs in the game. But you ended up getting a huge comeback and a big win against the Chargers, 38-37 when you were with Denver. Does it feel the same? Do you just brush that stuff off and say, whatever just happened, and go back out and, every series is different?
Yeah, when you're Tom Brady, throwing an interception is a little bit different than me, right? When it's me out there, that every opportunity the rest of your life, when you go, they're going to be looking at all these situations and why you threw interceptions, because I was labeled a journeyman. And you don't get those opportunities. When you're Tom Brady, you can throw 3 picks and have confidence that nothing is going to happen to you, right? And Tom Brady's just a different breed right now because he can throw those things, nothing happens. And look, their defense was playing incredible.
Yeah.
Right? I think he threw all those picks, and I don't think the Green Bay scored from any of them.
No, they didn't. Yeah.
And, when that happens, then you're feeling pretty good about yourself. But that game against the Chargers was an emotional roller coaster. To throw an interception, it's hard because you feel like you should be winning this game, and you throw an interception, and then you come back and you throw a touchdown. So it was a back and forth ride in the end zone to beat the Chargers, and that was like Ryan Leaf's last hurrah, right? I remember that game. That was like his last chance. He played really well, but I was like, there's in my mind, I'm like, there's no way Ryan Leaf is going to beat me. So we had a great team in Denver. It was a lot of fun. We had some incredible players, and you just go through and you go through those ups and downs in a game, and hopefully you can keep it together well enough, and you got good teammates around you that those bad decisions or mistakes that you made don't come back to haunt.
Yeah, I think that was the classiest thing that Brady did is after the game when he was being interviewed by the Fox on-field reporter, he basically just said, hey, stop asking me questions. We got a whole team here.
Right.
These guys, won the game too. Let's talk to them. All right. And I just thought that was kind of a classy move. But,
well, yeah, I mean, he definitely couldn't have won that game without their defense going up there and playing the way they did.
No, not at all.
I mean, and I think it's going to be hard for them in the Super Bowl if they don't get their 2 safeties back in Winfield and Whitehead.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys were playing incredible. Whitehead went out with a shoulder injury, and I don't know if Winfield, I don't know what exactly was wrong with him, but their defense, stopping the run, creating turnovers, it's just been playing great football through the playoffs, and Todd Bowles really got them playing at a high level.
Yeah, he's got to be. They've got to be looking at him for a head coaching job someplace because his defense is pretty remarkable. Especially since a couple of the guys on the defensive line, in JPP and in Ndamukong and Sue, I knew I was going to trip over that. They're not first or second year guys. They've been around a while and they're veterans, but they're getting up there in age, and for them to play at the level they're playing is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it's just something about being a veteran, though. When you get older, you just have a different stamina, you have a different mindset, and you know how to handle situations differently. Your emotions don't run away with you like we saw in the Bills game. Like younger guys, you can get heated, emotions can get away from you. When you're older, you just know how to conserve things. You know when to turn it on, when you don't have to, and things like that. And I think that when you have a good mix of young and old, it's always really good for you. And I think Coach Bowles is a great guy for those guys because he lets them play. And then their head coach is doing a great job as well. He just believes in his guys and seems like they're having a lot of fun.